Well, I'm recording this because I've been watching the news about tariffs, and it doesn't seem fair that China, United Kingdom, even Russia, but I'm not surprised that Russia is part of Mexico because ever ever since I found out that crossing illegally the Mexico-U.S. border was a lie. This war between Ukraine and Russia started, so it's not a surprise for me Russia supporting Mexico. I remember when I was in line waiting for my turn to carry out the process as a refugee in Comar, Comar. There were two guys. They looked Mexican, but they were speaking something like Russian or Ukrainian. I didn't want to pay attention to it. And the thing is that after they made threats of death to me in Tijuana, after becoming a refugee in Tijuana, this war between Ukraine and Russia started. So, just a second. All this thing about supporting Mexico doesn't look fair to me because there are Mexicans here in Guatemala. After they made threats of death to me in Tijuana, I tried to cross from Tijuana to California. I remember they said that the narcos got my relative, my sister. He used to visit me in Tijuana. They were doing that in purpose here in Guatemala. They always do that when I'm recording. They know how. I never knew anything about something like this. You see, they were doing that in purpose. They know where I'm at. They know where I'm going. And something they do is there are people who look physically like my relatives or people I met in Mexico and stuff like that. That's something I wanted to talk about because when they said that, I remember when they said that the narcos caught my sister. I remember when they said that the narcos got my sister. There was a lady with the same tone of voice that she has. This lady had the same tone of voice like my sister's, and they were messing with me. They were messing with me psychologically that way. Like telling me, even at the Tijuana airport, they were messing with me. Like, even at the Tijuana airport, they were messing with me. Like, saying that they caught my other relatives and they were killing them. So, I think that all this thing about the tariffs has begun because all this thing about the Mexico-U.S. border. So if somebody's gonna mess with all this situation, want to help in all this situation, I think that there should be equity. Helping Mexico to have their own water, and helping the U.S. to have their own petrol. I still can't believe that after so many years of migration, after so many years people migrating to the U.S., they couldn't take care of that situation, having their own water and having their own petrol. So something else I'm asking to the president of Mexico, because those people yelling in the audio, they know what I'm recording and why I'm recording. I'm in Guatemala, but they want to let know that they know who I am. I haven't done anything wrong here in Guatemala, but if I ask them, why are you doing that? They don't tell me. You see, so there are Mexicans here in Guatemala playing a role as a spy. You see? So they're playing games here in Guatemala. So there are Mexicans playing games here in Guatemala, and I'm asking the Mexican president, when is she gonna ask them to go back to Mexico? I'm asking the president of Mexico, when are you gonna tell to these Mexicans here in Guatemala to go back to Mexico? Because they're playing games as playing roles as a spy. But if something happens to you, let's say like what I realized, seems like that they know that the guy who tried to rob me and fractured my jaw, seems like that they know that the guy who tried to rob me and fractured my jaw, he was Mexican. Because I found Mexicans smoking weed around the place where they fractured my mandible. I didn't know anything that they were gonna make me leave Guatemala to go to the United States. I didn't know anything about it. So they're just playing roles as the spies, but at their own convenience. Like he was doing this, he was doing that, he was doing something wrong, but I didn't tell him. They were using witchcraft to do him something wrong, but I didn't tell him. But I know that he did it. So I'm asking the president of Mexico, when is he gonna ask those Mexicans to go back to Mexico? Because I don't know what they were doing here. Some of them, they don't look like they are working here in Guatemala. If they work, they're selling stuff in the streets. You see them a couple of days, and you see new Mexicans here in Guatemala. So I don't know what they're doing here. They're trying to make you feel bad about the fact that they made threats of you. They made threats of death to you in Tijuana. That's what they come for. And they're trying to find you doing something wrong because, in my case, they're not letting me get a job. You see? So, if I get a job, they didn't let me stay longer. So, yeah, they're waiting for you to do something wrong. And then they try to revert stuff. That's what I'm trying to stop and to get rid of, because I'm a human. I can make mistakes. You see? Not about robbing, but maybe having a cup of beers or something like that. It's something that I don't want to, because I'm studying. I'm about to graduate from high school. So I have some plans, like getting drunk or doing drugs. It's not included in those plans. So I'm thinking about it. Like, I want to break free from all these things. Like, if you make a mistake, we're gonna gain the right to live, to go to the United States. Don't know what kind of stupid game they have. Excuse me for saying that, but I've been caught in this situation for around 4 years. You see? So, besides of that, if they come here to play roles as spies, I want to get rid of that too, because I want to live a normal life like everybody else does. You see? So, if you're gonna help Mexico, it should be closing the Mexico-U.S. border, and especially from this side from Coahuila to Eagle Pass, because I remember before they made me leave Guatemala, they told me, I saw the news, and there were people who said that they were trying to cross the Rio Bravo or the Rio Grande, who died trying to cross that river. So all this thing about the tariffs and all the help they're apparently getting from, it's just a result of the situation with the Mexico-U.S. border. And Russia started this war. Well, this war between Russia and Ukraine just started after the truth about crossing illegally the border, which is a lie, started to be. As you can listen to sort of children from Mexicans, and they were always like, you see, and I don't know, like trying to make you feel bad, like he's talking about it. You see? So I'm not looking for trouble. That's what I'm trying to say. But I want to live freely in my own country. I don't know why or what they come for here. I'm not interested in living in Guatemala. You see? And something else. These migrants you see on the news, they are in the United States with American visa, and there was somebody. They are in the United States with American visas, and they were doing all that nice because they know I'm recording about the border. She's Venezuelan. I don't know what they were doing here. If Trump's in the United States as a president, as everybody knows, so I don't know what they were doing here. I don't know what kind of game they were playing. I don't know if that stuff about asking for money in the streets, they want me to do that just because of talking about the truth, crossing illegally the border. So that's why I'm recording all of this, because they get you into the game, they make it hard for you to get a job. There are Mexicans messing with you in your own country. Ever since, even before they force you to leave your country. You see? So that's the truth. I got to Mexico, asked for a refugee. They didn't let me stay there. I couldn't stay in California. Something else they didn't say about alerting people in California about ICE arriving to have these raids, to start these raids to deport people. They don't talk about how in downtown Los Angeles, California, they make you listen, just like it happened to me in downtown California. She was screaming my name, and she said that they were hurting her because I arrived undocumented. That's the truth. So if somebody, let's say like the Prime Minister from the UK or the President from China is messing in this situation, I think that they should help to close definitively the Mexico-US border and stop that lie of crossing illegally the border, because I know it by own experience that crossing illegally the border is a lie. So I want to make it public, because everywhere I go I find Mexicans. Everywhere I go I find Mexicans, and I'm not messing with them. I don't owe anything in Mexico or the US, so I don't know what they're doing here. The same way they treat you in Mexico, they should go back to Mexico. I don't know what they were doing here. I'm in my own country, and that's why I don't want to leave my. Los molesto, es que estoy grabando un audio. Pueden largar mucho mejor. No me daba cuenta que lo tenía. I didn't realize that I paused this. Something else that the president of Mexico doesn't talk about. Any president of Mexico, not only Claudia, is that there are Mexicans playing the role as a spies, and they're trying to prevent you to get U.S. papers by being petitioned, helped by people here in Guatemala who want to go to the U.S. I didn't know anything about it ever since I was till I was undocumented in Mexico in the U.S. She doesn't talk about it. They seem people who have already been undocumented, who have already migrated to the United States, or people who just come from Mexico. They're trying to mess with you. They're like trying to make you feel like psychologically bothered by them. You find them places where you're working at the street, in your own neighborhood. So I don't know what they want from you. So I'm asking her why she doesn't ask them to go back to Mexico, because I don't know what they are doing here in Guatemala. If they do threats of death to you in Mexico, why should they come here to Guatemala, especially to keep an eye on you if they showed you that they don't want you in Mexico? Something else, I don't know what santería or witchcraft. I just know about it because they talked to me about it in Tijuana. If I believed in witchcraft, or if I knew what santería means. You see, I just didn't realize he's behind me. Because I don't feel their presence. I don't feel them like when they were approaching. I don't feel their presence. And actually, this week I was having a headache, and I was feeling really weak. I couldn't go out to look for a job. I'm currently studying, but it's a private high school, so I need to have a job to pay to have the monthly payments. You see, so I don't know what they were doing here. They're always like screaming or doing noises, walking past in front of my house. I don't know how they know where I live. You see, but they say that they can find people who get lost in at the Mexico-U.S. border, people who have been missing people missing in Mexico, but they know where someone who arrived undocumented to Mexico or the United States, but they know where someone who arrived undocumented to Mexico or the U.S. lives. You see? So that's something they don't talk about. They try to make it look like, well, you talked when the previous president of Mexico was, just a second, was the president of Mexico. So, but I don't know anything about what you have been talking. The thing is that I know by own experience that crossing the Rio Bravo River is a big lie, because you end up in the back of a neighborhood where I don't know if they call the sheriff, but the sheriff stops you, asks you if you have American papers to be in the U.S. If not, he calls the border patrol, they take your biometrics and send you back to Mexico. So that's the truth. So I think that I have already talked about it in English, everything I had to say. Bueno, estaba viendo las noticias, ahora en español, de esto de que China y el primer ministro de Reino Unido estaban haciendo empezaron negocios con México. Pues algo que tengo que decir es de que pues ¿por qué mejor no ayudan a cerrar definitivamente la frontera México-Estados Unidos? Porque ese es el problema. No puedo creer que en tantos años de migración no pudieron haber solucionado el problema del agua y el problema de del petróleo con tanto dinero que se usa, bueno, que se hace de hecho en Estados Unidos. Aparte de eso, pues no sé si están tratando de solo aparte de eso, no me parece que solo están haciendo ruido a propósito, pasan hablando a la par mía a propósito. Entonces no puedo creer que en tanto tiempo no hayan podido solucionar esos problemas, y creo que solo están tratando de distraer la atención de lo que realmente sucede. Pues no han terminado de cerrar la frontera, especialmente por el lado Eagle Pass, Coahuila, porque Entonces, porque recuerdo que antes de que me hicieran que que me fuera de Guatemala, había gente que decía que tratando de cruzar el río Bravo, había gente que había muerto. Cuando sé por experiencia propia que si uno cruza el río Bravo va a dar a la parte de atrás de un vecindario, pasa una carretera de terracería, llega uno a un bosque, por ahí llega uno a esa colonia o barrio, como se le podría decir, vecindario, donde no sé si la gente que uno encuentra en la calle llama al sheriff, pero el sheriff le pregunta a uno si uno tiene papeles americanos para estar en Estados Unidos. De lo contrario, pues como fue mi caso, llamó a la patrulla fronteriza tomó mis datos biométricos y me devolvieron a México por el puente internacional, que debo decir que por el lado del puente internacional el agua es menos profunda, entonces no sé por qué no han cruzado por ese lado, a pesar de que sea una mentira. Otra pregunta que tengo es por qué en lugar de solo hacer inversiones en México, no cierran la frontera, no ayudan a terminar con esa mentira, para que pues cada quien también pues ayudar en eso, México y Estados Unidos pues arreglen su situación con el agua y el petróleo, que eso sería ser equitativo. Porque otra cosa que sucede es de que, como en mi caso, que estuve indocumentado en México y en Estados Unidos, pues antes de que pues volviera a intentar cruzar indocumentado, sucedió de que había probado tener empezar el trámite del refugio. En eso escuché cuando estaba haciendo cola, escuché a dos muchachos que se veía que eran mexicanos hablando algo que parecía ruso o ucraniano, no lo sé, la verdad, pero los escuché. Y bueno, después de que me amenazaran de muerte en Tijuana, empezaron con esta mentira y empecé a hablar de lo que era la mentira de ahorita quienes están hablando son mexicanos. No son de acá, físicamente no se ven como guatemaltecos, su etnia no se ve guatemalteco. Entonces pues simplemente pues ese es el problema, ¿no? Me amenazaron de muerte. Entonces sucedió de que pues me dijeron de que los narcos habían capturado a mi hermana. Me hicieron escuchar a una mujer que tenía el mismo tono de voz que mi hermana, que gritaba como que le estuvieran haciendo daño. Entonces pues lo mismo pasó en el aeropuerto de México, en el aeropuerto de Tijuana, que me hicieron escuchar cómo supuestamente habían capturado a mis demás familiares y los estaban matando. ¿Ya? Pero de eso no hablan. Entonces le pregunto también a la presidenta de México cuándo le va a decir a los mexicanos que han venido acá a Guatemala que se regresen a México, porque supuestamente ella consideró ser racista que pasaran anuncios de que se regresarán a su país de origen, anuncios de Cristi, no me recuerdo del apellido de ella, pero trabaja con el gobierno de Estados Unidos. Entonces Cristilón, algo así creo que se llama. Pero cuando empezaron a pasar estos anuncios de que se regresaran a México y que no llegaran ilegales, pues ella dijo de que lo calificaba de racista. Entonces el que vengan a estarme fastidiando acá a Guatemala acerca de las amenazas de muerte en Tijuana. Well, I didn't realize that it paused the recording. So I don't know what these Mexicans are doing here, because after they made threats of death to me in Tijuana, I went to the Mexican Immigration Institute and they told me that the status of my refugee was protected. So I don't know what they were doing here. If they think that I owe them something, I think that they have been already paid with the several times that I tried to cross illegally the Mexico-U.S. border. So I don't owe him anything, because that's a lie. I know it's a lie because I've been there. And not even the news channels talk about it. Entonces, bueno, lo que estaba diciendo en español, no me había dado cuenta que había pausado la grabación. Pues si creen que les debo algo, pues para empezar el refugio, no sé qué es lo que hacen aquí en Guatemala, porque para empezar, después de que me amenazaron de muerte en Tijuana, fui a preguntar al Instituto Migración de Mexicano, fui a preguntar al Instituto Mexicano de Migración y me dijeron de que eso lo dijo a propósito, de una mexicana. Siempre son mujeres las que se meten para después decirte de que uno es misógino y se andan metiendo con las mujeres. Y los hombres no lo hacen porque soy gay. Aparte del refugio que pedí en Tijuana. Por eso es que no lo hacen. Entonces no sé por qué no hablan claramente y dejan de estar fastidiando. Porque si vienen a Guatemala es porque quieren. Porque no sé qué hacen acá. Porque si los quisieran en Estados Unidos estuvieran. Pero si están aquí es porque, no sé, por lo que me han dado a entender otros mexicanos es que vienen a ver quién les puede vender un pasaje para irse a Estados Unidos. Es lo que me han dado a entender otros mexicanos. Es decir, no estoy hablando mal de México en general. Entonces, well, something that happened, the lady who said que rica, well, it means like it's delicious or something like that. I don't know what she was trying to say. Rico means to be rich. So something I was saying is that if they think that I owe them something, they have been already paid. You see, because I tried several times to cross illegally the border, which I know it's a lie because I've been there. So, this lady said that while she knows that they also did it with children, because she knows that I'm talking about the Mexico-U.S. border, you see. So, they do that because if you just get angry and insult her, you're gonna look like you hate ladies. And they know I'm gay. So that's why men don't say anything, because they know I'm gay. The thing is, let's make it simple. If they wanted them in by the way, if they mess with witchcraft or santería, but not by themselves, and they know when to do it. You see? They start this situation like looking for trouble. They start behaving like you were looking for trouble. That's why they behave that way. That's why he was doing that nice with his nose. Y de hecho, que si se meten con brujería o con su santería. Por eso es de que hacen esa situación de que se meta uno y después, o incluso se comporta como que se fueran a meter varios. Y ¿se dan cuenta? No es como que yo ando buscando problemas. Yo no ando buscando problemas, solo ando grabando. ¿Ah? Entonces, volviendo a lo mismo, y lo hacen para distraerlo uno. Pues, well, something I said in Spanish, they do that so that you look like you're looking for trouble. Man, don't say anything because they know I'm gay. You see? So, if they wanted them in the U.S., they should be in the U.S., but they aren't here in Guatemala, and I don't know what they were doing in Guatemala. You see? So, just to make it clear, this is the real migration, you see? Solo para hacerlo claro, es la verdadera migración. So I'm talking about this because I want to put an end to this game they have with migration. Entonces estoy hablando acerca de esto para ponerle un final a al juego que tienen con la migración. Quiero vivir una vida normal. I want to live a normal life like any regular dude would do, como cualquier otro muchacho lo haría. ¿Ya? Entonces, eso es por eso es de que opino todo esto, para evitar toda esa situación de que vengan a estarlo vigilando a uno, a estarlo fastidiando. ¿Se dan cuenta? Estarlo fastidiando a uno, no estarlo vigilando. Porque es lo mismo que hablo del parole humanitario, que ya ese juego que tienen con las palabras también quiero terminarlo, porque solo por decir parole ya andan dando a entender de los paroles humanitarios, de los perdones humanitarios, que es la palabra, porque bueno, me gusta el idioma francés y se usa mucho esa palabra, parole. Entonces no puedo hablar francés libremente sin decir parole. ¿Ya? So I wanted to put an end to this game they have with migration, because something else they try to use is the word parole. Parole is like palabra or forgiveness, which is a parole. I can't speak freely French because of that word, parole. You see? So, just a second. So, something else I asked about the parole. They fled from their country because they were fleeing from the violence in their country. How do they know, how Mexicans know where I'm at right now? How do they know who I am? So, what's the need of asking for a parole, for asylum in the U.S. If they know what you did, who you are, what you said, they know everything about you. You see? And he did that on purpose. So, the same thing happened to California. But they told me Mexico, the politicians get in witchcraft, and that's how they know what happens in California and the Mexico-U.S. border, because they are keeping an eye on California and the border with that witchcraft. Algo más que me dijeron en México fue de que los políticos se metieron en brujería y que con esa brujería tenían vigilada California y la frontera. Entonces, ¿por qué la necesidad de un parole humanitario, de un asilo, de un perdón humanitario? Sí, ¿cómo es que saben mexicanos quién soy? ¿Cómo es que saben dónde ando en Guatemala? ¿Para qué necesitan un perdón, un asilo en Estados Unidos? Es algo de que ni siquiera los abogados de migración hablan, y al decírselo a uno, a hablar acerca de toda esta situación en un live de una abogada de migración, me bloqueó. That's something else that happened, that I was talking about this situation on a live of a migration lawyer, and she blocked me. So, but that's the truth.